Hello, good evening. This is Aijay Ufomadu, and you're welcome to the maiden edition of the Exquisite Network webcast. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'll be your host. Today, we'll be talking about the role of personal branding in fulfilling your life assignment. We want to understand what exactly personal branding has to do with living your life to the full. But before we start our topic, I'd like to talk about what the Exquisite Network is all about. We're a bunch of people who are committed to giving God our very best. We don't believe in living life lowly. We don't believe in being mediocre about life. We believe in being deliberate and intentional. We're deliberate, we're intentional, and we're excellent while doing it. We understand that we have an assignment to do on it, to fulfill for God on earth, and we're very, very intentional about it. So we give God our very best and we leave the rest to Him. Now getting down to our topic, life assignment. What is an assignment? An assignment is a task, is a homework, is what you typically call homework. It's a job given to someone to do, a task assigned to someone to do or to carry out. It's definite, it's specific, and it has a time limit. So typically, your life assignment, it's that task that's been given to you to fulfill whilst living on earth. It is definite, it is specific, and you have a time limit to it. Okay, then personal branding. What is branding? Branding is a set of characteristics. It could be an image, it could be a term, it could be a symbol, it could be a logo, it could be a feature. It's a set of features that identifies a product as being different from others. It identifies a product as being distinct from others. So personal branding typically is the practice of individuals marketing themselves or their careers or their life work as brands. Then let's talk about personal branding. Branding is a set of terms. It's a set of features. It could be a term, it could be a logo, it could be an image that typically identifies a product as being distinct from others. It's essentially what makes you different. So personal branding is the practice of individuals marketing themselves or their careers or their life work as brands. It's about individuals defining who they are and making themselves distinct from the environment around them. Personal branding is what an individual, it's akin to what a company does when they employ a set of professionals to manage their image so that they consistently produce a message that accurately describes what they do and who they are. Now personal branding has to do with consistency. You have to be very deliberate about it. It's basically about the look of you, the feel of you, and the memory of you. Let's talk a little bit about personal branding. You see, your life assignment on earth, it's like a message. It's like I said earlier, it's a task. You're coming to tell the world something. You're coming to give an information. You're coming to do something to transform the life of people. Essentially, you're giving a message to the world. And we all know, a message is some form of communication. And the key trait, the key factor in communication has to be your voice. The way you say what you say affects how the other party receiving the message receives it. We all know the saying, communication is not complete till the receiving party fully understands what is being communicated, and your voice plays a very integral part. Like I always love to give an example. I could say one thing in two different tones of voice, and the message is received differently because of the tone of voice I used. Because of the tone of voice I used. That's how personal branding is. What a tone is to your voice is what quality is to personal branding. The truth is that we all have some sort of personal brands. We all have branded ourselves in some sort of way. When people think of us, there's this memory, there's this feeling that comes to them about us. That feeling is a brand in itself. So what the stock show is about, it's about being deliberate, it's about being definite, it's about being consistent. It's about being consistent, making sure that the message that we're giving the world is the message we want them to have. Not just living life anyhow, no. But we want them to get the message, we want them to understand what we are sent for, and we want to make sure that we're on the same page. That's what personal branding is all about. Okay? So now, why do you need a personal brand? Personal branding helps build your reputation. Like I said, we all have some sort of brand. There are some people you think of and they evoke a feeling of a good feeling in you. And there are some people you think of and you don't give them the second thought. That's because of the brand, the unconscious brand that they've built in their mind in your mind concerning them. So personal branding helps build your reputation for the right reasons. Personal branding makes sure that people see you for who you want them to see you for. Now, it isn't about living a two-faced life. It's about being real inward as you are real outside. So it helps build your reputation. Personal branding builds your visibility. It helps you become more visible. Because the truth is that you are the face of your vision. You know, Pastor Sam Adeyemi taught me something. He said that people have to buy into you as an individual first before they buy into your vision. You are the man behind your vision. Visions are not born out of the air. Every vision has someone carrying it. So you are the person, you're the face, you're the person behind your vision. If for people to really buy into your vision, they have to buy into you first. They have to understand you first. They have to know where you're headed for. So that's why personal branding is very key, because they need to be sure what they are buying into. So when you're deliberate about your personal branding, you build your visibility. You make it possible for people to see you for who you really are. And then personal branding builds your influence too. You know, when we think of people, let me just go with two names. We think of Nelson Mandela, we think of Muhammad Ali, the whole lot of them. But I just use these two people because they are somehow at the very top, and almost everyone will identify with them. What comes to your mind when I call their name? Influence. It's very likely, because of the influence these guys have built, it's very likely that when they say something, the tendency for you to believe what they said before questioning it is very high. Because of the influence they've built, they've been consistent about the message they're given. They've been very consistent. So when you brand yourself deliberately and you're very consistent about your message, it helps you build an influence. Okay, and then the fourth one, the fourth one has to be your brand equity, the value that is placed on you that either adds or subtracts. Basically, your brand equity is the value that the public places on you by who they have perceived you to become. By the way you live your life, by the way you build your competencies, by who you are. The public places a value on you, and that value determines just about everything. Let me give an example. Let's assume you want to be the chef of all times. You want to open this eatery that caters to the high and mighty. You want to be known as someone who cooks nutritious meals and meals that are exquisite. You have to carry yourself in such a way that the public actually sees you as that kind of person. It's only when they see you as that kind of person, give you that kind of value, that they are willing to come into your restaurant and eat what you have to offer. And then personal branding helps you live a fulfilled life. You know, we all know that at that point, when it's time for us to transit from earth to heaven, by God's grace, we all know that at that point, the last thing on our minds, we've heard it over and over again, that other people, doctors and families of loved ones who passed away will always say that at that point in death, the last thing they were thinking about was the houses they built or the cars they bought. They were more interested in two things: the relationships they built and the lives they impacted. And the way you impact life, for people to receive you into their life, to even impact them, will depend on their perception of you. So personal branding will actually help you live a fulfilled life. So now, moving on to the building your personal branding. There are basically 4 components of building your personal branding. I love to call them the 4 legs, because I see personal branding like a table that gives you balance, and then those 4 legs are like the components. They are the ones that help you live it out. And the first one is your personality. What is a personality? It's a set of characteristics that forms an individual's distinctive character. It's basically your emotional makeup, your psychological makeup, is your behavioral traits, is your character, is your attitude, the values you live by. That's what your personality is. What has personality got to do with personal branding? Everything. You see, people might not always remember what exactly you did at a point in time, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. I work in a sector where basically across competition, all our products are basically the same. But what stands us out is the way we give the service we give, because you can offer the same products in the same way 2 times, but the experience in the 2 experiences will be different. And what influences experiences is personality. You know, like I said, we all have some sort of personal brand. So I ask you, What is your brand? When someone thinks of you, what comes to their mind? Sometimes in as Christians, we hear people say things like niceness is not the fruit of the spirit. I don't know where they got that from, but really, I just want to pick that trait up. Being nice will go a long way in helping you in fulfilling your life assignment. I once encountered someone who in trying to she was doing her job, but in trying to do it, someone apparently was going to break a law, and she was really, really harsh in her response to the person. And I was like, you didn't have to treat him that way. Maybe he didn't even know what he did. And she said, you don't understand. If I don't keep to the rules, I could lose my job. Well, that was what she said, but what I heard was she was working for a company where she was not secure. I mean, they are two different things. Like the Bible says, perfect love casts out fear. You have to be conscious about the emotional, the environment you build around you. Personality helps you build an environment around you. Build an environment that people want to stay in, where people are not afraid to be identified with you, where people actually love you. When people love you, they are willing to go the long haul with you. Some people will be like, some people could be like, okay, I don't really don't need humans. It's not true. The Bible says that the people perish for lack of vision. But I can also say that if there is a vision and there are no people, it's heading for destruction, because you need people to fulfill your vision. And people always want to be treated like people. They want to be treated like they matter. So your personality matters. What is your personality? When people think of you, do they think of you as, that lady, she's not nice, or that guy, he's so stern, or this lady, she's disciplined but she's nice? What feelings does a memory of you evoke in people's minds? The second one I'll talk about is your appearance. Okay, basically, what is your appearance? Basically, is the outward look of you. Sometimes people will be like, the way I look doesn't matter. Even in the Bible, God said it, that man first of all looks at the outward look before he considers what you have inside. We have to be very deliberate about how we look, because when someone sees you, they first buy into your physical appearance before they have to listen to anything you want to say. And trust me, the kind of people you want to do business with, the kind of people you want to build life with and do life with, are people who are ahead. They understand this thing. So the earlier you start to look like someone they could get advice from or get something meaningful from, the better for you. And your looks has to do with everything, from your head to toe, your hair, your facial looks, your dressing, your shoes. It does not have to be expensive. Really, it does not have to be expensive, but make sure you look good. Dress in such a way that if the president, you don't know when opportunity will come. They say success is when opportunity meets preparation. Dress in such a way that if the president suddenly had to call for you, you won't take much time to get there, because you're spending time dressing and fine-tuning and doing all that. Always dress ready for the occasion. It also speaks about your hygiene. There's no room for others, no room for living life. No, you have to be on top of your game. You have to take care of your appearance. You have to live in such a way that when people see you, most times, it's okay. In Nigeria, we have this slang we say, but it's very true. It's actually funny, but it's very true. They say the difference between plantain and bakery is packaging. It's very, very true. Really, very, very true. So your packaging matters. You can actually offer, the way you package yourself can make you can dress down today, or dress not looking like it, and offer a very little amount and someone will pay. But the next day you decide to be very deliberate and intentional about the way and it's not only about your physical dress, and also about your environment. I mean, your office or wherever you work, your car, everything. You name the kind of price. By the time they see the way you're dressed, they know that you're worth that price. So at the end of the day, it affects it contributes to your value. And then the next one has to do with your competence. Your competence is your ability to do something efficiently, to do it so well. It talks about your skills, your capability, your proficiency, your prowess, your ability to do something and do it very well. Now, when it has to do with competence, I tell people there's always something you're good at, always a set of things you're good at. Identify what those things are and improve on it. Your competition, listen to me, your competition is not the person doing the same kind of business with you. No. Your competition is actually your yesterday. You have to get better every day. Even the Bible says it. I take that as a command. Proverbs 4:18, the path of the righteous like a shining light. Your competition is your yesterday. You need to get better every day. And don't tell me getting knowledge is expensive. Start from somewhere. For example, let's assume you have a set of skills you need to improve upon and become better at. Pick up one skill you can work on. Even if you can, there's something called the University of Google. You can get just about any information you want to from there. But let's assume that you don't want to, maybe you don't have access to internet or something. In a city like Lagos, there are places where you can get books on just about anything you want in markets. At very ridiculous prices. Of course, these books are second-hand, but they give you the information you want. So you pick up a skill that you want to improve on, improve on that skill, and then trade with that skill. As it makes more money, begin to expand into other skills, improving upon other skills. Don't just stay there. Don't let money not be a hindrance. Be very deliberate, be very intentional, and make sure you build upon what you have. Okay, and then I want to talk about your difference. Your difference basically is what makes you, simply put, different from others. Sometimes it's not very easy to identify because we are like, okay, we all do the same things. We all do the same things together. But I want to give an example. Honda, Toyota, Lexus, they're all means of transport. What do? Basically, take you from one point to the other. Some do that in more comfort, some do that in more luxury, some do that in more style, but they take it from one point to the other. Now let's get down to Honda. In the Honda family, they have lots of Honda cars. All these things, they are fulfilling one purpose, but they are doing it in different ways. That's what you're different at. You need to find out what your key is. Someone like Whitney Houston, she used to sing very well, but her greatest feature has to be her ability to go deep and then draw her voice over a long time. You talk about people like Celine Dion. These are just examples. I'm using them because they're people everyone knows. You know what your own is. Find out what your difference is and build on it, develop on it. Because trust me, that is something that's going to give you your unique selling point, and that's essentially where your branding will take root in. Okay, now let's talk about the qualities that will help you build your brand. We've talked about the 4 competencies, the 4 components, the 4 legs of personal branding: your appearance, your personality, your competence, and your difference. If you can be very deliberate and intentional at building this, you will be able, trust me, to stand out. Like I said, everybody has some sort of personal brand. The onus rests on you to ensure that the message you're giving to your audience is the message you want them to have. Qualities that can help you build your brand. Number 1, have a strong vision. What do you see yourself as? What message do you want to give to people? Okay, let's assume that you want to be a mother, you want to be the mother, you want to be the wife. You have to have a picture in your mind of that future, of the kind of woman you want to be, of the kind of mother you want to be, of the kind of baker you want to be, of the kind of businessman or businesswoman, of the kind of speaker you want to be, or the kind of pilot you want to be. You have to have that image in your mind. Somebody taught me something. He said that the key to moving forward in life is this, and I'm going to explain it in my terms. He said, your inward man always has to be ahead of your outer man. In other words, your mind has to always be ahead of where you are present in the physical. Then you walk your outward man to meet up with your inward man. But the trick is this: always ensure that your outward man never meets up with your inward man. In that, you keep moving forward, you keep extending the boundaries, and then keep working on your outward reality to become what you're seeing inside. So you have a strong vision for yourself, and you make up your mind to get there. Have a clear purpose, even if the purpose is not very clear. Start from somewhere. Why do you want to do this, and then work towards it. Have an action plan. Trust me, all the plans in the world, all the vision in the world is not going to go anywhere if you don't have an action plan. You have to put pen to paper. You have to break it down from years to months to weeks and to days. So you have a strong action plan. You should be able to say, okay, I'm going to do this today. Okay, let me give an example. Let's assume you want to portray yourself. You want to become a person of influence. Now, personality and appearance will really, really help you there. It's something that's very, very key. Of course, competence and difference are there too. Now let's come down to appearance. That means you have to be very deliberate from now onwards, how you dress, how you look. That means that you have to have an action plan. It could be something as seemingly funny, but it could be something as little as every first Saturday of the month, I am going to make my hair. You don't have to, as a woman that's speaking, or I'm going to cut my hair every week as a man. You don't have to wait till your hair starts to beg for mercy before you change it all. Because you know you have to be very deliberate. You know that after 4 weeks, it doesn't look so new again, except maybe you're on dreads. But after 4 weeks, it doesn't look so new again. So you're not waiting for it to become so old. You always have a plan. You understand? I'm just taking at the basics. It could be anything, but just make sure you have a plan. Maybe when it comes to your personality, you've noticed that under pressure, you don't give your best. So you want to improve on your attitude. You want to be able to, you want to behave better under pressure. So you decide to go for materials, you pray concerning it, and you go for materials. It's not going to be a wishful thinking. You actually give yourself steps. Every 3 weeks, 3 times in a week. For example, I am going to go on the internet for 1 hour. I'm going to study about behaving well under pressure. I'm going to study about the right attitude under pressure. You actually study it. Those are plans, action plans. Break them down, because you have personal branding it's not so much a destination, it's a journey. We have to start from somewhere and then have a strong set of values. Make sure there are things you live by, things you will do and things you would never do. Because in building personal brand, along the line, you'll be tempted to become like others, but you should be the best version of yourself. Really, it's very okay to be different, and it's very okay to be yourself. Very, very okay to be different from the pack. Just make sure that you're the best positive version of yourself. At this point in time, okay, I want to talk about managing your brand, and then I want to talk about social media, basically. Okay, now we all know that right now, I was telling someone recently that we seem to have two lives, the online life and the offline life. And for most of us live more online than offline. And the truth is that the number of people who will meet online in a day or in a week might actually be more than those who will meet offline, real life. So if you want to promote your personal brand, going online through social media is just a very good platform. These days, almost any information almost any information can be gotten online. I don't know, but most times when you just ask a question, next thing the person does, he picks up a phone and he's going to Google. Because instead of asking questions, calling, you just Google. It just gives you straight information. So if maybe you want to be an architect, that is it, and you're not online, I don't know how you want someone who is maybe you're in Lagos, so you want someone who's in Abuja who has no idea that you exist find you. The person has to find you online. So you have to be very deliberate about the reputation you're building. You know, when someone Googles your name, what do they see? This is not an era for you to post pictures anyhow, or say things anyhow, or talk anyhow on the internet. Because there's something called there's something called online reputation. It actually tells a story of who you are. And those things can actually help you even while you're doing interview. It doesn't have to be a job interview. It doesn't have to be a white collar job interview. When someone calls you to do a job for them or to do a contract for them, they're actually interviewing you. And if the person decides to go online, what kind of information would they be seeing about you? You know, their profiles. There's LinkedIn, there's a blog, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. Whatever messages you're posting there, the key is this: make sure that your online life is consistent with your offline life. Don't give two messages. Don't be something online and then offline you're different. If you say that you can do this online, make sure you can really do that. If you say you're this kind of person online, make sure you're really that kind of person. Talks about reputation. Like I told you, it's about being deliberate, it's about being intentional, and it's about being consistent. Thank you very much. Coming up next is our guest speaker who will be speaking on how personal branding has helped him in fulfilling his life assignment. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Thank you.